Hey everybody, and welcome back to the channel. HDM here, and in this video we'll be diving into my top 5 favorite ways to farm companion gear in the new Elder Scrolls Online Blackwood chapter. I'll be showing you my top overland zones, public dungeons, group dungeons that can be easily soloed, and much more. So if you're trying to gear up your companions but haven't had much luck yet, then check out this guide and you might learn something new. We'll also be talking about which traits are worth keeping and which are best depending on how you want to build your companions, so let's jump right into it. First, let's cover the basics. So companion gear can drop from all enemies in the Elder Scrolls Online, basically, no matter what zone you're in. Now, bosses do have a higher chance of dropping companion gear than normal enemies, so the locations and farm options I'm going to be sharing next, especially the ones that are the most efficient, those will involve finding and defeating as many bosses as quickly as possible. This is going to be important because the drop rate of companion gear is still extremely low. I'm talking about 10%, if that. Also, make sure your companion is summoned and active with you as you go through these different farming options, because no companion equals no drops. So that brings us to number 5 on our list, which is going to be farming delves. And the reason why delves are not higher up on this list is what we just talked about. Delves typically only have one boss, and it can actually take you some time to get from the beginning to the end of the delve, which means this is going to be your slowest and least efficient method for farming companion gear. Now, I will say on the flip side, this is a great option if you are a very new player, you're low level, because delve bosses are going to be the easiest type of boss that we're going to have on this entire list. Plus, you can farm things like sky shards, gear sets, read bookshelves to learn new skills. So yes, you can get some benefit from this. It just won't be the most efficient method on our list. Number 4 on our list is going to be public dungeons. And what I'm seeing right now is this is by far the most popular option among other players. And that's for good reason. Most public dungeons have somewhere around 5 or 6 bosses that can potentially drop that companion gear. You can also get lots of gold and other things that sell for a lot of gold, and you can also gain a lot of experience by farming public dungeons. But of course, you have the downside that is, depending on which public dungeon you choose and what time of day you're playing, it might potentially be very crowded, meaning you might actually miss some boss spawns. And there's also this thing where if you kill like 2 or 3 bosses in a row, sometimes they stop dropping loot. So it can potentially be frustrating, but yes, this is a good option. So some of my favorites that I think you should check out would be Forgotten Crypts in Deshaun. This, of course, because you can get some really nice sets here like Mother Sorrow, Plague Doctor, which you can use yourself, or you can even sell those if you don't need them. Then another one of my favorites would be Crimson Cove, that's in the zone of Minotaur. This public dungeon is amazing for farming gold as well as experience. You also have the Spinner's Garment set, which drops here, which also can be very popular on guild traders. And if those are too crowded, I like to head to the Western Skyrim zone. Very few people hang out here now that the new chapter has actually dropped. But the Labyrinthian public dungeon is a great option. Some good sets drop here as well, so it's definitely worth checking out. Number 3 on our list is going to be Dolmen farming. Now, the final boss that gets summoned at the end of a Dolmen or other world event will have a chance to drop companion gear, and there are a lot of other benefits as well. Of course, in many zones, you'll get rings, which you can either sell on guild traders, you can also deconstruct them. You'll get a lot of experience, which if you're trying still to level up your companion, this is a great way to also get them levels at the same time. Make sure you use some XP modifiers like training gear and experience potions to max that out. I have another video on this actually if you want to check it out. I'll have that link down below. But basically, any zone that's known for, efficient dolmen runs, whether it's Alakir, Desert, there's Bankarai, Minotaur, Oradon, there's plenty of zones that you'll be able to find dolmen groups. If you're high enough level, you can even solo these yourself. So like I said, very efficient method for farming companion gear, and it's also great for farming experience if you need to level up, get champion points, or level up your companion. On to number 2 on our list of farming companion gear, and that's going to be farming world bosses. Of course, any world boss in the game has a chance to drop a piece of companion gear. Now, I would recommend doing this in the base game zones because those bosses tend to be quite a lot easier. These can be soloed by players under level 50, and now since we actually do have companions, if you have a companion tank or a healer, it's going to make this an even better option for you. I'm going to share a very easy route for you guys. In the zone of Deshaun, you can take out Short Tusk. He's a very simple world boss. Then run down to the southern portion of the zone and take on the Abomination. He's even simpler. From there, you can fast travel to the other end of the zone. Hit the Ghost Snake Vale Way Shrine just north of there. You'll have a Troll World boss, which is super simple as well, the Dire Bramble Patch. From there, you can go back to the start, or there's even a fourth boss a little bit further who's also very easy. That's at the Ritual Altar. So farming 3 to 4 of these bosses in a row, just cycling through. Like I said, with companions now, these bosses are much easier to solo than they ever were. Of course, you could pick up another person if you wanted to. 2 players and 2 companions would make this even faster. So this route's one of my favorites. If you have any other zones that you think are especially easy, let us know down in the comment section. I'd definitely be interested in those. On to option number 1, which in my opinion is going to be the most efficient way to farm your companion gear, and that is soloing group dungeons, specifically normal difficulty dungeons, base game dungeons that are super easy. There are some great advantages to this. Number 1, it's solo instanced, which means nobody's going to be taking your kills from you. You can go at your own pace and learn the dungeon if you want. Also, most group dungeon bosses, especially on normal difficulty, are actually easier than world bosses. They usually have significantly less health. So in terms of difficulty, this is just a small step up above a public dungeon. But like we said, it's instanced. You don't have to worry about crowds. You don't have to worry about losing these bosses to any other players. This is yours to farm. Let me show you my favorite option right now. This is going to be Wayrest Sewers 1, which you can get here super easy through the town of Wayrest in the zone of Stormhaven. And this dungeon, I don't actually complete it. What I do is I do the first 5 to 6 rooms, and there's literally a boss in every single room. So there's 5 total bosses in the span of like 10 minutes or less. You can do this really quick, especially if you're higher level. So this is a really simple method. I don't think a lot of people are doing this right now because so many people are just crowding, the public dungeons and the dolmens, when this method is just as fast, if not faster. So definitely recommend you check it out. Like I said, Wayrest Sewers, the normal version, the first part of that dungeon. Some other good options would be like Fungal Grotto 1. Crypt of Hearts is another pretty fast one. So there you go. That is our number 1 tip in terms of how to farm these companion gear pieces as efficiently as possible. But I did want to talk to you guys about which gear pieces are best, and specifically which traits you want to be on the lookout for, because you're going to be getting tons of different gear pieces, all with different traits and qualities. So what do you hang on to? What do you sell? What do you get rid of? Now, not every trait for companions is actually a good option at this point, unfortunately. And there are definitely some best in slot traits right now based on how you want to build your companion. First, I would say the best all-around trait, in my opinion, basically for any companion build, is going to be the Quicken trait. This is what decreases your companion ability cooldowns. So this is going to be fantastic whether you want to build your companion up as a tank, a DPS, a healer, whatever, because some companion abilities actually have very long cooldowns, like more than 30 seconds. So anything you can do to reduce those is going to make your companion actually a lot more effective. So Quickened is my number 1 trait. I'm always on the lookout for Quickened pieces, both armor, weapons, and even jewelry. Next, if you're planning to build your companion as a tank, there's going to be 2 specific traits you want to look out for. The first is the Vigorous trait, which increases your companion's max health. So if you focus on vigorous armor, vigorous weapons, or jewelry, your companion can basically get over 40,000 max health, which is going to be great for helping them to take those big hits from tanking bosses. That's how you want your tank to play. Now, another good option is the Bolstered trait. This one reduces the amount of damage your companion is going to take, so that's going to help them survive even longer. So a combination of those 2, Vigorous, Bolstered, those are really great for tank companions. For a companion healer, the main trait you'll want is called Soothing. The Soothing trait basically buffs your companion's healing done, so they're going to heal you or themselves for more. So that's a great option for healers. And then finally, for a DPS-focused companion build, the ideal trait here is going to be the Aggressive trait, which increases their overall damage done. You want to be on the lookout for that one. So basically, while any trait is going to be okay for your build, especially when you're just starting out, you're just leveling up your companion, traits don't make a huge difference. But if your goal is to kind of min-max your companion after a while and then start taking on harder content with them, you're going to want those best-in-slot traits for the long run. So with that being said, we'll go ahead and wrap up this guide on how to farm companion gear in the Elder Scrolls Online. And if you have any more questions, we do have a written guide linked in the description and the pinned comment down below that has even more farming locations, including some of my favorite zones for dolmens, public dungeons, even easy to solo group dungeons. So definitely check that out if you need some more ideas on where to farm your companion gear. And of course, if you enjoyed this video or you found it at all informative, don't forget to crush that like button. Make sure you're subscribed right here for more ESO guides just like this one. And as always, thank you all so much for watching. I hope you're doing well. Stay safe out there, and I will see you around in the next video.